What's up, YouTube? This is Mathwest97, and welcome to episode number 28 of SmackDown vs. Raw 2006 General Manager Mode. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. We are here for the September 27th edition of SmackDown, coming to you from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And as you can see, our main event matchup for this evening will be Kurt Angle going one-on-one with SmackDown's newest superstar, Stone Cold Steve Austin. That is set to be an epic matchup to take place later on in the episode, but for right now, we've got a confrontation between Carlito and Randy Orton. As you can see right now, Orton lifting Carlito up for a huge neck breaker. Nice move there from Orton. As Ric Flair, of course, is in Orton's corner. Bit of a new tag team, kind of, not exactly new, but a tag team that is just sort of bursting onto the scene here in this GM mode series. Orton and Flair, they've been kind of loose allies with Triple H to this point in the series. So, I mean, now we do kind of need some tag teams, trying to work some things out. Orton and Flair, it's a realistic pairing. They have definitely teamed up as a part of Evolution in the past. So in a sense, we're going to try to throw them together as a tag team, perhaps get them a shot at the tag titles in the future. Of course, I think at the moment we have Big Show and Kane, who, I mean, they were all tag team champions. I'd rather not just throw the same people at the titles all the time. We've got Batista and Eddie Guerrero, and the British Bulldog and Bret Hart have kind of been formed together as a tag team. Though I do think, especially now that we kind of made some trades, brought over some new people, I think we could perhaps pair up some other superstars that we have on the roster, maybe tag team with Chris Jericho. We also had Christian, although at the moment with Christian being the Cruiserweight champion and Edge, he was the former United States champion. So it really was just kind of like, I don't know, they were both singles champs, or even when Christian wasn't the Cruiserweight champ, Edge was US champ. So they just haven't worked out as a tag team. If they're not both champs, then it's singles title. So it just hasn't quite worked out yet to this point. Perhaps we'll be able to get Edge and Christian to team up, but we'll see how that goes as the series progresses. But as usual, with this being the Tangent series on the channel, I do want to actually bring up a new topic. Not exactly new, but at the time I'm doing this commentary, we had 19 new superstars released, and that is really cool because we've got the likes of Hideo Itami, Tyler Breeze, Kevin Owens. We've got a lot of actual new superstars to this year's game, WWE 2K16. Definitely looking forward to bringing some of those guys into Universe Mode. And as well as that, I believe there were a couple others, Sting, just to kind of name a few of the other sort of superstars that were thrown into the mix. I don't have them all memorized off the top of my head. But yeah, we do have a lot of younger, more NXT-based talent, and I think that's really cool. Looking forward to bringing in some of these new stars to the game. And as well as that, not only were 19 new superstars released today, but I also had a bit of news for my Universe Mode series today. I actually, on the date, if you want me, I'll give you the whole thing here. I'm recording this commentary on August the 17th, and today I recorded, not the entirety of the event, but I did record most of Money in the Bank, the Universe Mode pay-per-view, and you're probably thinking, wow, you already have that recorded, man, you're really ahead of the schedule. And really the only thing that, like, if I could get Universe Mode videos uploaded at the same rate that I would have, that I can record the videos, if it were that simple, I'd probably be up to Survivor Series or something by now, but obviously that's not possible. I have to edit them, render them, and then commentate over them. And as my schedule with commentating at the moment is very, it's not exactly a set schedule, it's just kind of whenever I get the chance. So I don't always have the opportunity to do some commentaries, and that's why over the past, well, by the time this video should be uploaded, I've got a couple more, but in between like episode 27 of GM mode and whatever, I think it was 77 of universe mode, there was a bit of, or 78 of universe mode, I meant to say. There's a bit of a gap kind of there. It was 2 or 3 days, which isn't a whole lot, but I have been trying to keep to a consistent schedule of uploading the videos. But I don't even know how I got to that subject. I was talking about Money in the Bank. Funding. I only recently started using the Elgato's flashback recording system, because normally I would just record it as is, or live. But unfortunately, my laptop just seems to be kind of, you know, it's kind of a low-grade laptop to begin with. Nothing too fancy, but even lately it's just kind of been running slower and slower than it has been. So I can't really do the live thing anymore, otherwise it'll kind of glitch up and fall a few seconds behind. Sometimes that delays the audio, and I really don't want to try to deal with that. I've been a flashback recording since it's been a decent amount of time now. It's been a couple months, I believe, maybe since like June I just started it. Definitely once I started doing this GM mode series, because my normal method wasn't working. So I've just been doing this series with the flashback recording. Really, I forgot that the flashback only goes up to like around 2 hours or so, I believe, or something like that. I thought it was only 2 hours, but it can go a little bit over. Because I was recording Money in the Bank, and I recorded every match but the Money in the Bank ladder match, because that is going to take a lot more editing to put together, so I want to do that as a separate recording. And unfortunately, I did not remember the time limit for the flashback recording, so I finished the whole event. I think overall it took definitely over the time limit, and I was unaware of it at the time. So I was like, oh, okay. I went to hit the capture button. I'm like, okay, let's record this. And I saw it was in the middle of a match. I was like, oh no. I was livid. I thought I was going to lose the whole video because of, you know, I hadn't actually used flashback for a video of that size. Normally I ended off at most at like an hour and a half. And I was like, oh crap, I lost this video. Luckily enough, I do still have about 2 hours and 10 minutes of recorded gameplay. Obviously, that's not going to be the length of the video, because, I mean, you got to do several different editing to bring it down. Obviously, the loading screens has a lot of time, and piecing together the matches, because I did try to go a little bit more in-depth with the matches, try to be a little more hands-on. But luckily enough, it kept, you know, the main matches that really took a lot of work, took a lot of time to piece together. So I only ended up losing about the first 3 matches, so I'll have to go back and re-record those, as well as the Money in the Bank ladder match itself. So, you know, it's just a bit of a tangent kind of there, but it was just kind of a bit of a scare there, so I gotta remember that there is a time limit on the flashback, so I gotta be wary of that, especially heading into the new Universe Mode series. Luckily enough, I record so far in advance that if I have an instance like this, you know, if I recorded this like the week before the video was supposed to be up, I would be kind of screwed, because I'd have to go back and do another recording, and that would throw off my schedule. So, luckily enough, this is kind of a reason why I do record a bit in advance for Universe Mode, because, well, one thing, I have to render it out and then commentate and then render it again, but also, I mean, it gives me kind of a stockpile of footage, just so I can get all the commentaries when I have the chance, and also if there are any technical difficulties that I encounter, so that way I can produce in the meanwhile while I work on that. So that was my kind of tangent. Talked about the roster, talked about Money in the Bank, which is going to be an awesome event. I know I haven't even uploaded Payback yet, but Payback is also going to be a great endeavor. I definitely tried to take a few extra steps that is kind of the middle ground between my older style, which, I mean, it's a slow transition. I've been getting more in-depth, more hands-on on the matches, but Payback was kind of like the first real event where I tried to do some cool tried to throw in some extra, don't know exactly what to call it, but, you know, there are a couple cool moments. You'll see, once you've seen the Payback pay-per-view, you'll know what I'm talking about. But Money in the Bank, I tried to go kind of a step further. It's kind of a work in progress, especially when I get to SummerSlam. I definitely want to go all out. That one. So hopefully, you all will enjoy Payback when it comes out. Also, I know I said Well, actually, I tried to do this commentary once before, but I got interrupted. Next episode, and basically all the videos following that, will actually be better quality. Yes, I know. I just finally realized that rendering everything to a Windows Media video, when YouTube, in the end, processes it and converts it to MP4, I finally realized how bad of a decision that is. Because, I mean, just look at the video quality, and, you know, I always thought it was pretty good. Also, the fact that the frame rate is actually dropped lower than it should be. Instead of being 30 frames per second, I've always rendered in 24 frames per second, because that's just the default rendering setting that was always there since I started using my Sony Vegas editing program. And I finally changed it around, found a setting for MP4. I tried to do it once before, but I encountered several different issues, and I just kind of gave up, which now looking back on it, I'm like, why, you idiot? Why would you give up? Because look at the different... I finally found one that works, long story short, and the quality will be increased. I think I put a disclaimer before episode 29. I'm going to have to make a change to that, though, because I originally was going to render out Payback in the Windows Media, just in case, you know, for some reason the MP4 style didn't work. And then I noticed how much, like, what the difference was in quality. And, you know, heading towards the future, I like to reuse my universe mode footage for the promos and whatnot. It's always just good to kind of keep the videos as well, because then I can look back on it in the future if I ever need it for anything other than just YouTube, if I want to use it for, I don't know, whatever the case may be. It's always good just to kind of have my stuff, and the higher quality I can have it, it'll just make all the future videos better off that I use it for. So getting an MP4 was a must, so I did change that. But, anywho, that was enough about, you know, talking my talk. Now it's time to watch as these two superstars battle it out in the ring, Stone Cold Steve Austin and Kurt Angle. And I will do a more in-depth video on the quality switches. I'll actually probably make a video on that. Just go more behind the scenes on the process for anyone who's interested. And also just to kind of, you know, show you guys kind of a bit of my behind the scenes, sort of how I work, how I do my videos, and how stupid I am in the past, how stupid I was in the past by rendering the way I do. Anyway, that's enough of that. As you can see, Kurt Angle with that headlock there, trying to perhaps choke out Stone Cold Steve Austin. As you can see, he's definitely spent. These two men have gone back and forth throughout this matchup, definitely wearing down that stamina. As Kurt Angle went to punch Steve Austin, but Austin blocked it. And now Angle tossed into the corner. Steve Austin places him up on that top rope. Oh, what is this? Off the top rope, Stone Cold Steve Austin with a superplex. Taking down Kurt Angle, and the Olympic gold medalist is in some deep trouble. Stone Cold Stunner connects as Austin with the superplex into the stunner. That has got to be it. 2 count. Good night, Kurt Angle. That was definitely a good matchup, very back and forth, but in the end, it's obvious that Stone Cold Steve Austin is the pure man, he better man on this night. Stone Cold perhaps could be working his way towards that world championship. Could definitely be a quick contender to get there since his debut. And what? Surprise move! Kurt Angle exercised a moral stipulation in his contract, officially ending his relationship with SmackDown, and he has jumped ship to Raw. What? Oh, this is bad. This is really bad. I had plans for Kurt Angle on this show, and what was this morale issue? And you can see Raw gained 60,000 fans. That's even worse. Why, Kurt? Why? What does he say? Come on, I want a shot. He wanted a title shot. This is what the morale is for. Why? Like, I swear, last episode he was happy. Like there are a couple cases that will go from happy to furious, and you don't know until it's too late because they're Kurt. I thought, I thought Kurt would be professional about this. If he wanted a title shot, he could have asked like everyone else, and then I would have at least given him one. But no, now he's just gonna jump ship to Raw. Oh, this is not good. This is like the 1990s all over again. We got people jumping ship to different shows. Maybe we can get somebody from Raw to jump over to our side. Man. Yeah, and also I thought that Raw had a full roster of 20, but evidently not, as they just stole Kurt Angle. So we gotta be careful with those title shots. We gotta make sure people are getting their title shots, so we don't have another Kurt Angle. And in case anybody wants me to try to trade somebody to get Kurt Angle back, I'm not doing that. Kurt Angle's a traitor. He just betrayed SmackDown. Do you really want me to try to bring a traitor like him back to our show? I can't stand for that. It's just, I'm not having it. Kurt Angle, that little punk, he abandoned us. So clearly he's in it for himself and not in it for SmackDown. And I don't want somebody like that on my show. Let's be quite frank here. Looks like Stacy Keibler was the person they did not re-sign. So yeah, they did not have 20 superstars. Darn it. Well, anyway, Kurt Angle, he just jumped shipped. And plus, if I did try to trade for him, I would be giving up other superstars who are main eventers. So either way, I'm losing somebody. And chances are I'd probably have to trade 2 people then if I wasn't going for Kurt Angle. I mean, if I wasn't willing to give up a main eventer for Kurt Angle, I would have to trade, some of my more minor superstars. So we're going to go ahead and try to extend some of these contracts, and again, we're going to be like bankrupt just about, because we have no cash. But that sucks! Why, Kurt? Why, Kurt, why? I didn't think Kurt Angle was that kind of a guy. I thought he was more of a team player than that. But that's what happens. I guess it's the quiet ones, the ones you don't expect to jump ship. They're the ones who, in the end, will just leave you high and dry. We are still winning the war, but after signing Kurt Angle, I think Monday Night Raw, they could be on the verge of a comeback. But that's it for this episode. I want to thank you all for watching. Keep on YouTubing.